Well, it's that time of the day, that time of the evening, that time of the morning, and it's Radio FM88, and we're going live simulcast through our radio show on various platforms. And if you happen to be participating, it's on Radio FM88 Australia Facebook page, Radio FM88 YouTube channel. You can jump onto Andrina Forrest YouTube, Andrina Forrest, her Facebook page. And without further ado, I hand it back to our co-host in the UK, none other than Andrina Forrest, and she's going to introduce our guest today, this afternoon, this morning.
Hi everybody, welcome and good time of the day wherever you are in the world, and if you're listening to the replay. And today it's the 18th of August and it's a number 5 day. So for those of you who are number 5s, it's your day and it's all about heart movement and freedom and travel. So on that note, it's my great pleasure today to welcome Amelia Jorlin Carlini, and that's her galactic starseed name, which she's going to share with you. But she was originally born in Wellington in New Zealand. And we've only connected, I think, within the last couple of months. Through different connections, people recommend people to come on the show, and I follow all links. And one of them, I was given Amelia's info, so I sent her a message straight away, and she responded straight away, and we spoke for a good hour, I think, straight away. So we had a good old chinwag and a chit chat and what have you, and she was delighted to say she'd come on the show. So without further ado, welcome, and it's lovely to have you on the show. And just welcome. Thank you for coming and showing up.
Oh, thank you to both of you. It's really lovely to be here. I have been watching your shows, so I'm glad to be a part of it today.
So let's I mean, I know you've got so much to share. You've got lots of skills and talents. You've been in the corporate world, and now you're channeling different beings and giving out messages, and you're really helping humanity. So can we go back to the very beginning, that you started off in New Zealand and how your path has evolved from that moment onwards?
Absolutely. Well, as you said, I was born in Wellington, and then I lived in Auckland for 25 years and raised my children. I was married there. I started working in the corporate world, and I found myself separated, divorced, and I thought, well, how am I going to make an income? Because I'm still learning. And I've always been interested in the spiritual side of life. And my grandmother, from my mother's side of the family, she was a natural psychic. She used to read the teacups, and she used to do the palms, and I started doing the palms, and I thought I'll go do something with this because it just wouldn't go away. I was starting to channel messages, and so I went and did some spiritual awareness classes, and on top of that I started doing tarot cards and doing a little income on the side to help my children get through school. Even though I was doing a lot of channeling and a lot of work and giving people, sort of downloads and things like that, I had to decide, do I stay here or do I go to a corporate world and make a better living for myself, because I've still got teenagers and things like that to get through. So I went into the corporate world, and I went straight into the IT industry because that's where the money is at the time. So I went into all the big corporations like IBM, Cisco, all those big companies. I was working here in Australia for Telstra and companies like that. So I was really in an environment that was not really allowing me to speak my truth and have my psychic abilities come on board, even though I was always determining what was going to be the outcome in the meeting and telling people not to bother with certain projects because I could see the outcome, and they were always wondering, how did I know? And I sort of had to keep that side of myself very quiet. So when I came to Australia, even though I was sort of in the IT industry and I was working very hard, 2020, we got hit by you-know-what. And I got to a point where I was contracting, and I just said, I've had enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I can't speak my truth. 2020 is about vision, about seeing your truth, being aware. And I remember I came home crying from work because I had a shocking day, and I was always very professional. I came home from work one day, and I was all the way from Brisbane sitting on the train out to my place crying. And I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. And I heard, because I was already connecting to galactics and angels and things, and I heard them say, don't worry, you're protected. We've got other plans for you. You're going to create a YouTube. And so that's what happened. I gave up the corporate world and went straight into my service role and YouTube. So it brings me to where I am today, basically.
Amazing. So, fascinating journey. So, how did you get your name? Because it's a very unusual name, and I know they come from different star systems. So, would you like to share?
Okay, so the day that I was sitting out there crying, I heard do a meditation, calm yourself down. So I did a meditation, and this beautiful Arcturian being came to me, big, tall man. And I said, who are you? And he said, I'm your father. I'm Master Orbit, your Arcturian father. He said, you're actually part of the Arcturian High Council, and we've got big work for you to do. Your name is Carlini. And that's how I found out, first of all, I was Carlini. And then it wasn't long after that, I was doing more meditations and work, and the Palladians came to me and told me my name is Ameria. And so then I took on Ameria because that's the role I was working at the time, more Ameria, the Palladian side, the warrior side. And then further down the track, more meditation, more channeling, and I found out my Syrian side is Jorlin. So that's how my name is. And they said to me, you know, in New Earth, in New 5D, you will only have one name. It'll be either a starseed name or a Christian name. All surnames and lineage are disappearing because we're tied to lineage. And we're slowly upgrading our DNA and ridding all our bad lineage. So then I met Usher, who is my Palladian father. He's commander of the first fleet of the Palladian ships. That's him there. I draw all my channelings. I've only just started drawing in probably the last 9 months. I never knew I could draw. I always used to draw little stickers. Oh gosh, my sister's an artist and I'm a twin. And I used to say to her, how come we shared a womb and you've got all that talent and I draw stick men?
I know what you mean. I got a job to draw smiley faces.
But anyway, I did a lot of higher self activations and found out that I was an artist in a past life in France, and I used to do portrait painting and drawing. So it's coming through me now. This is my mother. Her name is Miria, and I'm Miria. She's also on the ships. They wear uniforms, and the triangle is their symbolism. They all have logos depending on what ship they are and what fleet they're in.
Fabulous. What was I going to ask you then? So for some people that don't really understand when you're talking about you're on the ships, can you explain how you do this, whether you do it in meditation, whether you do eyes open, where you're in sleep state, you've got the constant channel going? Because like for some people, it's a bit beyond them to understand. And for the rest of us, it makes complete sense.
It's interesting because I always knew I never belonged here. I never felt like I was home. I still don't feel, you know, us starseeds, we never feel like we belong here. We know we've got another home somewhere else. I never feel at home in Wellington or Auckland. I don't feel at home in Brisbane. I never call it home, you know, even though I have a very deep appreciation and love for Earth. And if I see anything bad being done to Earth, my heart bleeds because I have this passion. That's why I accepted the mission. And then they said through channeling and more meditation, you're going aboard the ships at night. And it's actually, I think you've got my book. It's in my book that I've got also.
I was going to get to that. When we spoke, you said to me, I will send you my book, and I was very blessed to get your book. And there's a lovely picture on the back. And I took this up. I've been up at seeing my grandchildren in dog sitting, and this fell out of my book. And my little youngest granddaughter, she's 6, Evie. She said, "Oh, I like that, Nan. And where did you get that from?" So she loved the colours straight away. So, yeah. So I read your book, which I loved, and it's a lovely compact little book, very simple, which is what I like. If it's got massive, and it's a workbook as well, isn't it? So it's got activations and all sorts in there, which I went through, saying and doing what have you. So I was very blessed. So thank you once again for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. And, I published that myself. I did it all organically. Because I was, from the corporate world and I had the skills to do certain things, I just put it all together and sent it off to a printer. But in the book, going back to what you asked me, my first adventure was on the Palladian ship where I met my father, Usher. And I write about that and how it was very clinical, very white, very pure. And I went in my sleep state. So during the night, because I remember I woke up very clear and I could describe everything. So what happens is we go away at night and we go aboard these ships and we do certain missions. And when we're doing these missions, you usually come back and your memory's been wiped. They don't let you, because it's hard for you to, if you're not really sure of what's going on, it's very hard for you to accept it. But I ask and I say, do tell me, or if it's really important, I need to see it. So I get messages as well. So I started going aboard the ships at night. They started letting me know. They said I'd been doing it since I was a child. Mm-hmm. And I always remember as a child, weird things happening to me in the middle of the night. So that's how you go aboard. Mostly it's when you're asleep at night. Other times in meditation, I see them now. They come through like a portal into my lounge room. I've had the Palladians just turn up here, standing along here, 3 of them in their blue suits, staring right at me. I was like, hello, what can I do for you?
Quite. Yeah, I know, like for myself, I've had a lot in dream state, and some I've come back really remembering just bits, but obviously, like you say, it's all wiped out, because obviously if you're up there and then we have to come back down into this density, if you like, then it's just hard. You can't get the two to mirror together, can you? So no,
it's very hard, because you're going through dimensional shifts. Sometimes you'll come back gasping, sometimes you'll come back like they've dropped you like a thump. You wake up, other times you'll wake up with a dry mouth because you've been in the healing chambers. I go into the healing chambers a lot, the crystal chambers, which are the archery and crystal chambers. And I see a lot of people up there. I recognize a lot of people. I can pinpoint people that are doing channels on YouTube. I've seen on the ships. I've seen President Trump. I've seen Princess Diana. I've seen quite a few people, because I go to these meetings on the ships. It's the council meetings, and I sit with them and I actually recognize them and see them, how they were on Earth. Because President is a Palladian. So, this is the thing. You see people up there, and people on my subscribers list, on my Facebook page. I see them on the ships. I see them working. Some of them are healers. So it's fascinating. And they say, thank you for confirming that. I knew I was doing that,
Sorry, Jeff, did you say something then?
Yeah, she said something. I thought you met someone up there and you thought, okay, I know who it is.
Trump. I thought was that when you said Trump?
Was it?
Yeah, President Trump.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. And so, and I see a lot of other people up there too. It's not just, you a lot of people start to wonder who's good, who's bad. You see them up there. And the good thing is, you know, that people are getting healing at the moment too. There's a lot of people that have been sick that are getting healing, and it's beautiful to see because the world is really changing. And these people they do come back with a little bit of a memory or something that's going to tell them throughout their day. Well, I get a flashback or something.
Yeah, because I know I get a lot in dream state, and I always write it down, and you know, some of it I can't make head nor tail of, but I just let it go, because I think we're clearing a lot of past life stuff, aren't we?
We're upgrading our DNA as well, and we're doing a lot of shadow work, and this is what I keep telling people. It's not pretty, believe me. Some of the things that we've done in past lives is not pretty. And you know, I think you have to do the shadow work to become the light worker that you want to be. I mean, I saw myself murdering someone back in some other century, you know, doing some terrible things. We've all done it. And this is what we're ridding of now. We're doing things to purify ourselves for our new earth.
So what do you think the main message is from what you know, like your comings and goings, and what do you think the main message is to help humanity now? Because like yourself, I'm 1111, I'm all nines, I'm all about being of service and how can I help people in different ways. So what is there a message to pass on or share what people can do now to really help themselves if they want to be more of service and let go of a lot of the stuff that they've been carrying?
It's a lot of work. You know, this ascension thing we call ascension, it's a lot of work because we're coming online to Christ consciousness, pure consciousness. And, you know, we're going to be telepathically communicating in the future. It's going to be amazing. So we have to clear everything out of that energy field and make it completely clear. So there is a lot of work to be done in the way of meditation, doing study, doing activations, doing classes, listening to high frequency music. Turn your TVs off, stay away from dull energy because that's not good for you. Stay away from alcohol and drugs and just be of pure, you know, beautiful frequency. I've just naturally gone off meat. I've naturally gone off alcohol over the last 2 years. And it's fascinating to see just how you change and ascend. And I said to everyone, it's all going to happen naturally, but you do have to put the work in. You do. And people like you who are a 9, you're naturally going to be a medium of some sort where you'll channel through messages. It's just a matter of bringing it on and activating it.
And I know with our diet, and I know there's so much coming down from the air, touching our food. There's so much in the water, and you know, it's like doing the best to have, you know, best water and the best food. And I know I can have something and I can react, well, within minutes I start sneezing and I know straight away there's something in there that doesn't agree with me. I can't always find out what it is. And it, you know, it could be on the odd time. For example, I might share a chocolate muffin, which I haven't shared for a long time because the muffins over here are nothing like the muffins in Australia. They were like blooming great, you know. But anyway, that's on another tangent. But yeah, is like organic is not always organic, you know. And it's like finding. I know I read about peroxide. So I do all of my stuff, organic or not. I soak it in peroxide first. And you know, to clear anything off, but we just don't know what's coming from where. I think you can hear the lambs. I think they're waiting to be fed, so I think she's on her way and they can
UK countryside.
It's lovely.
It's up there with the frogs that we've got, isn't it?
Yeah.
The toads. And I've got a pet possum out here at the moment. It's creating a little nest. Isn't it amazing? As your vibration rises, you bring in all the wildlife. I've had birds in here. I had a magpie walk in here the other day across the floor. I've got a possum creating a nest, and oh goodness me, it's all happening. And see, this is the thing. They pick up on your energy, they pick up on your frequency, people start looking at you strangely, and you think, well, what's wrong with me? But it's your brightness, your light, your frequencies coming online. And so therefore, this is what we're doing. That's what ascension is. It's just living purely, living a very good high frequent life, and keeping away from everything that's tied us down and kept us in that matrix. And so we've got to work on it. We really do. And like you said about the organic, it's getting better, and it will get better. This is where we're going to plant-based in the new earth, and we're going to have, you know, all our own food. We know how it's been grown, or you'll know the local farmer, you know. And a lot of my channelings have been big supermarkets will go, and we'll go back to the old bartering system, and we'll have the old local village and the old markets, and we'll just go out, you know, get what we need, support small business. And you know the local, you know, pumpkin grower or the local, you know, silver beet grower, and you know their soil, you know their farm. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be beautiful in that sense, because it's going to be pure organic then.
Yeah, I look forward to that, because like being here on a farm, the only thing that is organic is the eggs, because you know it's not set up for anything else. And sadly, a fox a few weeks ago had 5 of the chickens, so that was quite sad. And then the farm opposite, so of course the chickens here were in shock and weren't laying. So I went across the road where there's another farm, and they've got a sign out for eggs. Anyway, I went down talking to her. She said, "Oh, we haven't got many. The fox had most of our chickens last night." So I thought, you know, and that's, you know, it's lovely having free range, but nature is nature. And, you know, so it's, you know, when you see all the feathers from the chickens, I think, oh, poor little things, you know, but it's nature. It's just how it is. So,
absolutely.
Anyway, so, but for me,
I feel sorry for the chickens, though. I really do. I kind of feel sorry for them. You know, a lot of the chickens these days are all in big cages and all compressed and packed.
Yeah, I've always gone for free range or organic. And it was lovely, because they'd all strut past here, come, you know, I mean, you know, I have to be careful of the door, because sometimes the goats are on a little run around and they'll pop their head in. I think, God, push them out. So so from, you know, being in nature is such a powerful healer.
It's
you know,
such a great grounding experience too. I actually channel the trees. And I've done quite a few videos on channeling the trees and talking to them, and they've given us messages for humanity. And I go to the local bushways, and I've met the Sasquatch. So I now channel Sasquatch, and I've brought in the fairies, and I've brought in the pixies, the gnomes, and the dragons. I can also channel the ascended masters. I do a lot of work with Saint Germain, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene. That's Albert the Sasquatch here in Brisbane. His family are down at the local waterways here. He made himself known to me, and he's become a very good friend of mine, and I channel him regularly. People call them Bigfoot, but they're not Bigfoot. Again, that was programming to be afraid of them. There he is there walking across the pathway. And they show themselves to you dimensionally. So you can ask to speak to them, and he will channel with me. And his whole family's down there, and they recently just had a little baby, and they called her after me, Amelia, and I had to go down for the naming ceremony, and it was very, very cute. And they leave me messages, they leave me letters and branches, they leave ribbons around trees, all sorts of things. It's just
I know
beautiful.
When I went to Hawaii many years ago to do a dolphin seminar and trips and what have you, the lady there connected with the Sasquatch, and they used to leave her messages, and she had pictures of you know, one of them in the woods, and you could see as clear could be. It wasn't no Photoshop or any of this, and they would leave her messages, with sticks and rocks and all sorts of things like. So yeah, so I know some people don't believe it and think it's a made up thing, and then there's others that know differently.
Absolutely. And I take them down chopped up apple and leave it on a log. We have a little meeting place. We have a log, and we have a couple little stool type things here, which are actually cut off tree trunks. And I go back and the apples have gone, and I leave them crystals as well. And I went down just recently and there was one crystal left. And I said to Albert, why is there one crystal left? He said, that's for good luck. I said, all right, okay, well, I won't touch it. So, they're very beautiful, gentle beings, and they usually make you cry because they come through on the 7 and 9 dimensions. So it's very emotional when you start channeling them.
Wow. Lots of food for thought there. So I think Andrew was asking about one of the uniforms or something. Can you describe the fleet commander's uniform, please?
Usher's commander. Okay, he's my father. So it depends on what fleet they're on, Andrew. So they do have many fleets for different missions. I also channel Miley, who's on the Earth Federation team with the Earth Alliance. And her uniform is a little bit different from my father being a commander. The commander has like pilot, I tried to get as much as I could, the ribbon with the badges on it. It's a sort of a really unusual fabric. It's not what you would see here on Earth. The only way I can describe it is it's soft and silky with a bit of a sparkle to it. It's a sort of a sapphire blue. The diamond is silver. The badges are silver. The buckle is sort of a blue with silver, and the trousers are just straight blue. He also has a blue cap in the same colour, and that's the same fabric with the silver diamond shape. He's got blonde hair, blue eyes. Most Palladians are blonde haired, blue eyed. They come through that way on Earth. However, every now and then you get the brunette, brown eyed Palladian. And my mother is, I describe her like Mrs. Brady from the Brady Bunch. That's what she looks like. Little bob haircut, blue eyes, blonde hair. She's very short. And in that family, I've also got a brother and sister. And Miley, who is with the Earth Federation, so if you go to my YouTube and you have a look at some of the ones I've done on Miley, she's amazing. She is working with the Earth Alliance as well. And they're cleaning all the airways, all these sprays and things we've had. And she's currently over Mexico. I channel her very regularly. And her uniform is more like your blue that you're wearing, a turquoisey blue.
You want to know if it has buttons as well?
It has a zip. Yeah, it does actually. It has a zip. They mostly have zips, funny enough. Well, they don't look like zips to us. You can't really see it, but it is. I feel it is a zip. When I was on the ship, Andrew, you'd find this fascinating. So that he took me into this area with my brother and my mother and my sister, and it was this long white bench. And it had this glass, but it's not glass. It's a material that I've never seen before. And I remember this very clearly because I scented on it. And I thought, that's not mother of pearl. It's not glass. It's not plastic. And it was this bowl of fruit. But it wasn't fruit that we see here on Earth. It was the type of fruit they eat, obviously, in the galactics. And they said, help yourself. This is what we normally eat. They don't eat a lot. They usually only have one meal a day, if you're lucky. And a lot of it's just pure organic, like fruit. So there was this big bowl, and that was the big meeting place. That's the place where everyone sort of relaxes. They come off their stations, and then they come into this main area, and it's this big, long white table. And I just remember the bowl and the fruit, and it just blew. The colours just blew. I've never tripped, but if you were on a trip, you'd think, what are these colours? They're pretty out there. So I described that little bit in the book too. So fascinating stuff.
All right. So with your book, because you said you published yourself, what tips, because I know there are a lot of people writing their own books and they're going to self-publish, or they don't know how to what to do. What advice would you give to people to do their own books like you've done? And I know that, because I think, did you say you've got a couple left?
I've got about 5 left, and I'm leaving Australia soon. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just trusting in the universe. They've got some mission up their sleeve for me. And so I don't want to pack them, and I don't want to take them with me. And then if I have to do a reprint down the track, I will. But what I did was, with this photo is taken in New Zealand. It's one of my subscribers. She took that photo through a New Zealand Pahut tree, and it just meant so much to my heart. There's a little article in the beginning of the book about the cover. So what I did was, I had so much work from all these workshops I was doing and all my channeling. I just thought, why not put it into a book and give it to people to work on? Because there's activations in there, and you can see mine's a little bit damaged because I put it in my handbag, and I take it down to the waterways, and I activate the fairies, and I activate the land. And that's one thing I've been given. I was in meditation recently, this time last year, I think it was, and they gave me the light codes to activate land. So I do light language as well. And so that's all in here, those activations. But to get it published, I rang around, tried to look at all these publishers. They were charging thousands of dollars. And I went, you know what? All I have to do is design the page the size I want and make it into sort of an Adobe, so it can't be copied. And just put it, into a file and take it down to a local printer, and they just did all the order. I did the whole layout. I just wrote down what I wanted, how the chapters were going to look, and they printed a copy for me, and I was pleased with it. And I said, just go with it. There's a few mistakes in it, but that's the good thing about it. It's very like me. I'm just how you see me, This is what this is that.
Yeah,
and it's got my heart in it, and it's got my beautiful channelings. It's got me talking to my father, the Arcturian. It's just beautiful. But yeah, I've only got about 5 left, and then I'm working on a second book actually. But there's a really interesting bit in here that I'll tell you about. So when I was sitting here one day, I have the most weirdest things happen to me. I tell you, they've always happened my whole life. If I don't have Palladians visiting and Master Orbit turning up, this appeared on my wall.
Oh, yeah.
I think I sent Jeff the pictures, and there's a whole series of them, and they just appeared across this white wall. And I started channeling, and they said, this is how New Earth is going to look like. This is how the countries are going to look like, because New Earth is going to get smaller. So what's going to happen is we're not going to have to fly so far. I mean, as you know, the flight distance now is ridiculous. They go up and down and across and say it's 16 hours when really it should only be 8. And so what's going to happen is the Earth is going to compress itself. It's going to be smaller. So with that, this is how it's going to shape itself. And they were showing me Earth shaping itself on my wall. And they said, this is your new Earth. This is what the countries are going to look like. So if we're in Australia and New Zealand, all we will do in the future is jump on a ferry like we do with UK and France and go across. The same with the UK. You'll just go up to Ireland on a ferry or whatever, because you're going to be that close. We're going to be that compressed. And that came up on my wall, and I went, thank you for showing me, because it was just, I watched it. It took about an hour to form, and it just went, and I kept just taking photos. I took those photos on my phone, and I was just like,
yeah, I bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's capturing the moment, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then the other day, I was doing an activation. I've just created a meditation activation for people, and it's actually got an oath in it to do your service. And as I was doing that, this beautiful big this big red light appeared on the same wall, and it was red with a white center and yellow core to it, and it was just amazing, and it just blew my mind away. And they said, this is what's happening. This is Earth. This is you guys being activated. There it is. And I was just like, are you serious? This is just unbelievable. It was a lot deeper in color. It was just beautiful.
And that's it. It's like the rainbows as well, because I know, like for ages now, you know, you get a double rainbow, but the rainbows are so vibrant and they're lighter in color. You can see, how can I explain it? You can see the colors, but you can see other colors sort of after them, can't you? And you know, we know, like ourselves, we're clearing, freeing ourselves up, you know, for a new earth, to be sort of lighter beings than we are now. What am I talking about here? There was something. So and it's like, you know, we're drawn to different colors, we're drawn to frequencies, we're drawn to people's voices, and you know, we're drawn to places. Like, you know, I haven't been to any sacred sites. I was at Burnham Beaches, up at my son, which is an ancient woodland, and I mean, when I go in there, it's like the peace in there is, I don't know how to explain it, because you are in such a different space. It's absolutely, you know, it touches me on soul on every level. I walk in and I just feel this, this beautiful sense.
The Syrian side's being activated, so you can come from Sirius A or B and you're Sirius B, because you used to be a mermaid. And that's what you're sensing. That's the energy you're picking up.
Yeah, and a dolphin.
You've been a dolphin, you've been a mermaid. This is the thing. We come back in different forms, and this is why I do these activations, to bring that out, to work with it in the ascension and with yourself, to able yourself to bring all these consciousness into you and work with it. And we're doing we do meditations. We're doing the dragon one next week. That'll be interesting. Bringing the inner dragon, which you've probably been, or it's in you, the power. Or we're going to work with working with the dragons, because the dragons are now coming out. They're coming out from Middle Earth, because they had to hide in the dimensions. So the giants are you're going to start seeing the giants again soon. They're coming out as well.
Interesting times, eh?
Absolutely.
Right, let me think. There was something I thought I must remember that. I must hold that full. But it's gone. And also, for a lot of us, I know I'm getting downloads, because my ears, the different tones I hear in my ears a lot is also frequency activations in it. And a lot of people don't, you know, you hear this high pitched tone and they're just, you know, some people have said, I got tinnitus.
Well, that's a lot of the illnesses around at the moment are illnesses. They're ascension illnesses. There's an ascension flu. I had it and I was in bed for 3 weeks with high fevers and delirious, and I got taken off onto the ships to have healing and all sorts of things, and it is actually an ascension flu. So I totally get what you're saying. And those downloads or upgrades you get in your ears, this one, if it's your right side, it's your galactic family, and if it's your left, it's your angelics. So mine go like this all the time. Life, you know, it's just crazy. But often after you've had a real severe ear ringing, you'll find something's lightened in your body and heightened, some sort of tool or activation that you can do, or you might just get a channeled message or something. So you just never know. But always remember, if you hear something going on in your ears, there's something about to come to you.
Right. I was going to mention my sister Carol, she's got, I think I shared with you, she got 2 10-foot dragons down in Glastonbury. So she's written, when the dragons awake from the dream time and are seen on Glastonbury tour, the power will return to the people and we will be mighty once more. So, you know, like when you go to Glastonbury, I mean, fairies, dragons, witches, druids, goddesses. It's all in Glastonbury. Have you been to England yet? I can't remember if you.
I have
think
been to England. I haven't been. No, I haven't. But I've heard a lot about the area. The area has got good and bad things about it. And I channeled about the tour. It was used for in the past and centuries ago some horrible things like slaughters and sacrifices. Yeah. But exactly what this lady has said. It's all about the dragons and the power coming back, and all the old sort of landmarks and everything that are going to remain are going to be activated and pure and of pure light and energy. And this is where we'll get our power source from. Same with the dragons.
Yeah. And people are like, everybody's using the expression, people are waking up more. And I think people are more aware of there is more to just being here in this earthly body, like, like seeing auras, or might see an orb, or because I often see auras, and I do see orbs flash up here, there, and what have you, and is and like healing and looking at different techniques. People are they are becoming more aware and looking into different things of what, why am I seeing this, or what's going on there, or I don't understand that. There's a lot of change happening at this moment in time, especially with all over the last couple of years, different things that have been going on, and people are like thinking, is that right? And there's a lot, people are reading more in between the lines, I suppose is the best way to say.
Yeah. I did a little skit yesterday, I think it was, or the day before. I put it up on YouTube about our self-doubt. We all have a little bit of self-doubt happening, and we're not sure of the tools and everything that are coming online. And I think the biggest part of self-doubt is just our programming, probably from our parents. Don't be silly, you're just imagining things. I found all my old school reports the other day, and every one of them's got Wendy, my Earth name, has got incredible imagination. Well, hello, no, it wasn't imagination. I really was, so that was pushed out of us. No, don't do that. And this is what is coming back online. Our memory is coming back, and who we are and what we're meant to be doing here, and our missions are to bring in the light codes to make New Earth happen. And
definitely.
It's an honor to be here at this time. It really is. And every now and then I've got to say to them, remind me why I signed up for this.
Definitely, because I know, a lot of us, we joke and we say we've been dropped off on the wrong planet. We say this is definitely not the planet that we're meant to be on, but we know on another level that we signed up for this because this is the greatest time in history. We wanted to be part of it. But there's some days you think, this isn't for real. I'm definitely not meant to be here. Come and get me. And when I was,
they're always telling me when I channel them, we honor you. You don't honor us. We honor you.
Yeah.
You're the brave ones. You're the ones that came with the courage and bravery to do this. And you were selected, and we asked you if you wanted to do it, and off we went. So, it's very important to remember that they are behind us 100%. We've got so much help from above, and, they just honor the work we're doing. I mean, it's not easy to be a starseed in a human body. It's very hard.
Especially if you're not wired up for technical stuff.
Because you've got Syrian in you, and the Syrians are the technology ones that are going out putting all the 5G dismantling all the 5G towers. That's what the Syrians are doing that while we sleep at night. Did you know that you've got an angel behind you?
No, I can't.
Jeff.
Good one.
I could just see it. Just seeing it was a white angel behind you. It's
lovely. Well, I did call him for help to keep this. Like I shared with you that I've got a new computer, I've got a new phone, and all these activations on the phone, and I couldn't get it to work last night, and I couldn't get it to work this morning, and I've been praying. And
they heard you call. You see, they never let you down, and this is something I tell people: your guides are waiting for you to ask them to help you, because they're just standing around sort of twiddling their fingers thinking, oh yeah, we'll save her here and make sure she doesn't get run over here and we'll do that, but they've got nothing else to do. You're supposed to be asking them for guidance and help, because that's
I'm always asking. I think they think, for God's sake, somebody go and help her down there and shut her up. But talking of like in the skies, like I've often seen something, not just satellites going across the skies, but I've seen, and my mum always used to say that she always saw, she'd be out walking at night or coming back from church or wherever, because she was a medium and a healer, and she'd always see the ships going by. Well, I was in Glastonbury probably about a month ago now with Carol, and we'd done a 3-day event at a healing weekend, and we were sort of on a bit of a high from like 3 days of massive connections and what have you. And we couldn't sleep, and so Carol said, oh, come on, let's go and star watch, let's go outside. So she went on out, and so I was sort of coming, and she said, quick, come and see this. And we literally saw this like a cigar-shaped ship going by. I've never seen one so close in all my life, but it was so bright. And she tried to video it, and all we got is like a bouncing ball on there. There's no, you can't see it, but I mean, and I'm going, hello, I'm here, come and get us. But anyway,
I get them better during the day. I seem to capture them better during the day. At night, they just move around like a star. That's a battleship, that one. Yeah, the gold one. They have the fin out the back and the wing. They're the battleships. So they're the ones that are on missions. They're the ones that are going down to Antarctica and places like that, and they're on missions. The other ones, the more round, spinnier looking ones, are the Palladium ships. Yeah. That's the Palladium ship. That was sitting right above my street the other day, and they said, quick, drive down here. And I drove down, and there it was staring right at me, and they said, we're the Palladians. And I went, oh my goodness me, look at it just sitting there. How can people not think that's, how do people think that's a cloud? There's no way a cloud sits like that.
Yeah. But this one was like, it was long and narrow. There was, and it was just amazing. I have never, it was just so, it was so close on his. It's going by obviously fast, but it was like, oh my God, and I did put something out on Facebook about it, and I thought, well, loads of people, I mind you, it was 1:30, 2 a.m. I thought somebody must have seen it, for goodness sake. But anyway.
And they tune into your frequency like that one did across my street, and they know you're looking, and then they do it. They show themselves to you, and that's what, because that one sounds like the one you saw is the Syrian ship, which is connected to your Syrian side, not your Palladian side. So they wanted you to see it.
Yeah, but they didn't come and get me.
I always ask them to show up like this, and they just show up out here, and I go, hi guys. They say, oh, you'll be on us tonight, or you're doing something else. Because the one thing about the ships, especially the big motherships, they're huge. They're like cities. They have all sorts of things on them. They even have trains. I've sat on the train on the motherships, and you don't sit like that, facing the way the train's going. You sit like in Singapore. You sit down the side of the train. And then you have
that makes more sense, doesn't it?
It does. They've got it right, And then they'll take you to wherever you go. I've got an office on the one of the Palladium motherships. I've got a round pink office.
So, because I know you've got a very strong connection. So if I said to you now, is there anybody from any of the systems that would like to share or come through and have a message, would you be able to do that as quick as that? And would you like to share any light language?
I know Master Orbit comes through anytime I want him to come through. I can bring him through and bring a message for humanity, or just for the people that are listening, or a little activation or something. Activations are good because you're commanding it to happen, and then you're clearing the energy, but you've got to do it sort of regularly, because it takes up to 3 weeks to integrate into the system. Like even these activations in here, and the most recent ones I do on my Facebook page or in my group, they do take, like even the ones in the workshops and that, they don't happen instantly overnight. They take 3 weeks to integrate. So just remember that, 21 days.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you'd like to do an activation for us all, that would be wonderful. You do what, or light language or a message. That would be lovely.
Through from Master Orbit. So just if you can just open the space, bring in some love light energy, and he'll come through and speak to you all. He's coming through now. Are you there, Master Orbit Father? Yes, Carlini, I am here. Do you have a message for today for people of the world? Do you have something for humanity? Yes, I do, Carlini. Hello, everyone. From the Arcturian High Council of 12, I am Master Orbit. I oversee the council's doings, and Carlini, my daughter, will be coming to this role once she leaves Earth. I and the Arcturians are helping you from above. We are supporting you with love light energy. You will find in the coming weeks that energy is going to be intense. Yes, you will hear noises in your ear and body aches, but do not be afraid, dear ones. This is just the beginning of new beginnings and beautiful freedom for you all. Love light energy is laying over the earth, wrapping you in its comfort. You will all be free very shortly. We can promise you that. Call upon us for help. We're always here. We welcome to help you. May you all be truly blessed. Master Orbit and the High Council of 12.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Master Orbit. Thank you, Father. And that's how I do it. I just connect and they come through and they give me the message. I mean, they talk differently because they use words that I wouldn't use, and their tone changes a little bit too. So I often look back and listen to the channelings and I think, I never used that word. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
So, it's confirmation that what you're receiving as well. But I've always channeled, even when I was very young. I don't know. I think basically with me, it's always been, I didn't allow anyone to program me and tell me anything else. And I always remember my mother telling me, we can never ever tell Wendy what to do. She'll do it in her own time. And I thought, well, that's pretty much true. And, at school I was considered stubborn, but it wasn't being stubborn. I knew things, that I couldn't explain. I didn't know how to explain it. So, and I'm happy to give messages anytime. If someone needs help, I'm there for them. Because that's my role. That's my mission. Yeah. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful what you're doing. And it was, I thank, for all the different connections that link people together. And, you're walking your talk, you're doing so many different things to help humanity and share, what you're doing, because a lot of people not even aware of these type of things. So, as people listen and it's opening up their awareness. And I think that's the key. When you're talking to people, if you just bring something into the conversation and you'll know whether they're ready or not, you just plant the seed and you move on. It's like not keeping, in the past, I think I've probably been a little bit too much sharing my views without realizing, well, that person can't even understand what I'm talking about, and, letting it go. So now I just plant the seed and I realize if I can't do anything or help anymore, I just let it go and move on. Absolutely. And I think otherwise you're wasting so much, energy, like with different things that have recently happened. There was a great divide, and it's caused so much ripples all around, and it's like bringing people back together more and more each day, and talking to people and just sharing little things for people to realize there's much more going on than we realize here, you know, on so many levels, on so many dimensions.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, this is the thing. There's so many dimensions out there. And you know it when you've been through them as well. You really, really feel it. You know, you've been through these dimensions and you come back and it's like, wow, you know, where have I just been? Especially when I go down to the waterways and see the Sasquatch and the fairies, because I call the fairies in, because the fairies and everything come through on frequency. And so if you make that noise, you feel them come in, and they come in very close. And so all of a sudden your frequency, your dimension, you've gone up to 5D, 6D, and I've now activated it down there to 7D frequency. And you can feel the dimensions as you walk through there. It just changes completely, you know. And this is what it's all about, shifting dimensions, moving around in portals, that kind of thing. And so what happens is you can do this in your sleep and you don't realize it's happening. So you can ask for the memories, as long as you can, you know, hack it when it comes back. And you're able to, you know, it's kind of mind-blowing. I mean, I remember the first time I went up in the ship, and we arrived in the actual hangar park. You know, you get out and there's like a big, how you think of an airport hangar, and you think, hang on, am I dreaming this, or am I in an airport hangar? And then you see all these people getting off all their little ships, and you go up this sort of travelator thing up to this big door that opens, and then you go into the main mothership. It's amazing. And you think, am I still dreaming? No. And then you see a Palladian and they say, oh no, welcome aboard, you know, and they know you, and you've got a little swipe thing. And then, you know, they sort of take you to the different areas or put you on the train or wherever you're going. My office is in a sort of like a 6-story building. And I always used to think I was dreaming I was finding my apartment, because you go on a little lift and you go up and it's on the 4th floor. I know that. You know, so there you go. Can you describe it? There you go. There's my office. It's on the 4th floor.
So when are you aware of your clothing is changed? You're in a different rig out when you're up there?
Yeah, I've seen myself, I've drawn myself as a Miria, and I've also, Master Orbit took me on his ship one day, because they have their own personal ships as well, like little smaller ones. And then in the 5D and that further down the track, we'll all have ships, all have our own little ships, but like the Jetsons, you know, you'll have a little ship. But it's really interesting, because I went in there one day and he said, look over there. And in the co-pilot seat, there was this beautiful Arcturian being. And I was just blown away. And I said, oh, my goodness, they're beautiful. And he said, that's you. I went, what? Saw myself as an Arcturian for the first time, and I was blown away. I was like, oh, my goodness. They're not ugly. You know, this is the thing, the galactics, because they don't like to be called aliens, by the way. That's offending them. I get offended when I see the word alien, because they're not alien. They're not alienated. They're galactic beings. And when I saw myself as Carlini, I was just like, really? Wow. He said, yes, dear Carlini, you're beautiful. So, there you go. Very interesting things that you can do in that state. And I journal everything. I just write it down and I put it in my journal, and then I go back and have a look. So there you go.
So your next book, is that going to be similar? Is going to be a workbook again with activations, or are you doing something different in your next book?
It's a little bit different. There are activations in it, but it's more about my drawings and the channelings around the drawings. So I've been channeling fairies and more galactic beings, which I make videos out of, as you know. But I've also been channeling things like Jack Frost, Mr. Sandman, dragons that come in with channeling messages, and it's interesting what's coming through. Jack Frost, you know, we were always taught to be afraid of Jack Frost.
Yeah.
He was a protector, You know, we were lied about him. We were lied about Mr. Sandman as well. So, and I do lives sometimes on these drawings and that when they come through because they channel quite a bit. So I'll be putting it all into some sort of, I'm still working on it, some sort of format.
So did you have Jack Frost in Australia? Because he's more known over this side of the world than your side.
That's right. We have him in New Zealand. We were always afraid, you know, don't get your fingers and toes cold because Jack Frost will get them, you know, and that's not what it was all about at all. He was here to protect us from the cold.
I don't know much about the Sandman, so what's the story behind the Sandman then? I know like Jack Frost to get you and
the Sandman was mainly a healer. That's what he was, and he came in during the night. Mr. Sandman, you know, put sleep in your eye. He was here to protect you while you slept and went away on missions and things like that. So he's a beautiful being. Actually, I should have given you a photo of him because he's really cool. He comes through with a top hat and a black suit. He is a bit scary looking because he's dressed in black with a black top hat, but he's actually really cool. It's just I just start drawing and they come through and then they channel the message and tell me who they are. And some days I go without drawing anything, and then other days, bang, they just keep coming through. So it just depends on the energies as well and what state I'm in, because
yeah, of course.
I keep telling everyone nobody's perfect, and I'm going through ascension too. The people that I have subscribing to me and following me are helping me to ascend just as much as I'm helping you people to ascend.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so I have my bad days and good days too. And so therefore sometimes I don't draw and I don't channel, but I always find time to have some quiet time or meditate.
Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, when we were talking, your birthday is Christmas Day, the same as my sister Carol, and your sister is Carol. Was it your sister is Carol as well?
Her middle name is Carol with an E, like the Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah. So mine's Carol without an E. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. You know, you're both little dissimilarities. And it's amazing when you talk to people. You know, like we shared that we're life path 9. You are, I am, my sister is, my daughter is, and you know all the different little synchronicities or that are coming together. Do you think, oh, that's interesting? Like, oh, my birthday's that time, and just little things, isn't it? Sort of.
Well, it's interesting because it's all our galactic families finding each other again and connecting, and so that's what we're recognizing. Everything is coded and numbered. Like your light codes come through, you know, when I do my light codes, well, your number, your birth date and everything is a code to the galactics. And this is for us to be in our mission, to be recognized. But the galactics don't celebrate birthdays. They call it your arrival day. So I don't ever say happy birthday to anyone because it's your arrival day, and every other day after that for the rest of your life is your journey day. You're on a journey. The birthday is the day that you were actually born, not every day of that following year. That's your journey day. And so I channeled that as well. Birthdays and public holidays and celebrations and all that will go in the new earth. It'll be arrival day and then journey days.
Interesting. Anything you want to ask, Jeff?
Well, you probably got kicked the bucket day too, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think so. And I think that happens when your mission finishes. You know, I've been asking them about when I'm going, and I keep getting that I'm going in my 80s. But you see, there's no time, and time is an illusion. And the galactics don't, you know, you might think you've just been up on a ship for one night. And in galactic time, you could have been there for 3 weeks. That's why you do a lot while you're there. You're on missions, and so they don't recognize, and neither do the angels. You know, I do Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and they don't recognize time. Time is just an illusion. So if you're going to have a soul contract that tells a certain time when you're going to die, you can change that in the 5D, by the way. We're going to be younger. Because our DNA is going to change, so we're going to be younger looking.
Yeah, well, I already deleted the aging program. I'm not doing that one anymore. I'm going in reverse order now.
Just a number, isn't it?
Exactly. So I say, on paper, I'm this, but here now I don't feel anything like my age. But then when I was up with my grandchildren and they're asking me how old I am, and I'm saying, and then the little one said to me, Nana, you're going to die soon. And I said, no, I'm not. She said, you are, because you're old.
Oh, so sweet.
And weeks ago, she said to me, Nana, if you eat your vegetables, you won't get any, your wrinkles will go away. You know? So
you
that's
don't have any wrinkles. There's no wrinkles on you. Come on.
Oh, I got a few.
This is the thing, you know, we're going to look younger, but not only that, we can live as long as we want. We can live up to 100 years old or longer, add another 100 onto what you already are, because we're not going to age the way we do here in this dense body. And we're going to have all the med beds and the technology to keep us fit and healthy and well. There's a lady that keeps coming on down here. She's got short hair. She keeps coming on and asking if there's a message for her. Can you just let her know there's a little black cat hanging around in spirit for her? I don't know who it is.
I don't know. I saw something flash up. But
yeah, there's a little black cat hanging around. Yes, Sarah Rose. You've got a little black cat hanging around. I don't know what it is, or it's associated with you. It keeps coming in and saying, tell her I'm here.
Okay. I think I've covered everything that I can think of to ask you. Well, you know, I love your work. I love what you do. And if people want to find you, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, and, you know, people can email you and get in contact with you and arrange sessions or with you or get your book. So just going back to your wrinkles or crinkles. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if anybody wants to get your book, because like you said, you've only got 5 left, then what would you do? Would you have to order another?
I'll get some made up.
Yeah.
No problem.
Because I was thinking, I wouldn't imagine many people would go with their format to the printer and say, you know, can you put this together? Because usually you go to one of the bigger places, don't you, to get your books done? Oh, I don't know. I've not done anything yet.
Actually, Jeff, you're like this, being in Brisbane. You know what? I didn't want to go to a big publisher and spend thousands of dollars, because this is all about, I don't think people realize the power in this book, because it's everything in it is code. So it's code, it's activating, it's a textbook. Now, I went to a local business because I thought I want to support small business. This lady has a small printing business locally out here by the airport, and she did a really good deal for me. She did beautiful soft paper. The cover is very soft and flexible, so you can put it in like a textbook in your bag and everything. But you know what? That's all I wanted. I didn't want a big flash book where people pay $40, $50 for, because that's not what I'm about. This is about helping you in your ascension. So that's why I prefer to support small business and get rid of these big corporates, because that's not what we're going to be about in the 5D. I don't want to keep that going.
Yeah, and it is now like with the food, is supporting your local farmer or your local market, and you know, where they're more ethical than some of these bigger supermarkets, you know, they're chucking waste away and all sorts of things. So
yeah, exactly. We had one get flooded out here in the floods in March just recently down the road, and they're not going to rebuild it. They're taking it down. That's the start of it, you know, it's going down. We're going to go, and I've already channeled, there's going to be a big marketplace where we go out, you know, it'll be under the tents, and you do your bartering, and you go to your local farmer, and you go to your local grower, and that's how it's going to be. It's never, ever going to be a big mall again.
Oh, well, fascinating. So I've run out of questions. I think I've thought of everything, or been guided to ask different things. So it's been an absolute delight and a pleasure to have you on the show. And yeah, and it's just amazing hearing your point of view, how you're connecting with, you know, the different galactic beings and the messages. And, you know, I know they're all doing different things to help everybody on Earth now. You know, it's like this is it now. So thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all your gifts and your wisdom. It's been lovely.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, guys. I was delighted to be part of this community. I think what you're doing is amazing for humanity. We need more of this kind of thing. And we need to share what we've got and put it out there, because by doing this, we're lifting the vibration, right? We're making the world a better place, and that's what we want. That's all we want, is a better place.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to follow us, like, you can go on YouTube for Andrew. radio.com.au, on YouTube, on Facebook, and Dreaming the New Dream on Facebook. And I think I'm booked up till October at the minute, and I've got lots to follow up, but it's in the queue. So but yeah, and it's all about people sharing their gifts, their wisdom, their knowledge, and how, you know, we're all doing different things in different ways, helping one another. And, you know, so please share these videos and share the messages, and let's keep it rippling out all around the world.
Absolutely.